She was the bad guy. She was the third person they were married to. She had to fix how people saw her. Thanks for coming back, fellow royal family fans. As people learned more about Prince William and Prince Harry's lives, shocking news came out. A sister that is kept secret from the public eye. Just when you thought you knew everything there was to know about the royal family, from their beloved corgis to their travels around the world and their marriages, a new family member jumps out and begs to be explored further. This special movie goes into great detail about the interesting story of this hidden royal figure and the reason she lives in secret. What does Prince Harry have to say about her? Why was she kept a secret? Stay tuned and watch until the end. The British family's fame and safety. When it comes to fame and privacy, the British royal family is one of a kind. Without a doubt, their family is one of the most famous in the world. At the same time, they are the most photographed people in the world. One thing is certain: they are important to a lot of people, whether you think they are overdone or not. Queen Elizabeth II, Prince William, Prince Harry, Kate Middleton, and Meghan Markle are all names you know. Still, there are parts of their lives that they'd rather not talk about. This duality comes from the fact that the royal family carefully controls their public image, which is both interesting and hard for them. The royal family is the most famous in the world. The media is always interested in them, and they are watched over in every way by the people and the press. Their weddings, births, and even the little things they do every day are carefully recorded and studied. Millions of people around the world are now watching their every move because they are getting so much attention. On the other hand, the royal family is very private about their lives. They are very private about their personal lives and how the government works, and the public rarely sees these things. This is done on purpose to keep things mysterious and far away from the public, which is important for their job as images of continuity and unity in the country. The public finds it both interesting and annoying that the royal family is shrouded in mystery because of their unique mix of fame and privacy. It's true that Prince William and Prince Harry have a stepsister, but not many people know about her or why she's been kept secret. This cloud of secrecy has kept the hidden stepsister's existence hidden. She was born into a world where her very existence was seen as too controversial for the royal family's well-groomed image. It's easy to think of famous people as open books whose whole lives are out there for everyone to see, criticize, and rate. But the British royal family is famous for something different. Some things about their lives are known, like how much Queen Elizabeth loves corgis or how much Prince Charles loves organic farming, but other parts of their lives are still a secret. In a good way, the story of the secret stepsister shows how far the royal family will go to keep up their image. It also shows how strong the human spirit is because she lived an ordinary life that was full of amazing events. It's important to remember that even in the most public families, there are secrets and facts that can only be found out over time and with understanding. Her brothers William and Harry were trained to be kings and queens by learning how to be diplomatic and how heavy the crown is. But she had a very different life. Watch the video to find out what Prince Harry says about the stepsister and why no one knew about her. We need to start at the beginning of this story, in 1981, when Prince Charles married Lady Diana. Even though it seemed like a fairy tale, there were problems going on below the surface. The story of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer's wedding has captured the attention of people all over the world. Their love story was hailed as a modern fairy tale and got a lot of attention. But as with many fairy tales, the truth was much more complicated and sad than the happy story that first charmed millions. The courtship and marriage of Charles, the heir to the British throne, and Diana, a young English noblewoman, was like something out of a fairy tale. Over 750 million people around the world watched their wedding at St. Paul's Cathedral in 1981, showing how much people around the world love the royal family. People fell in love with Diana because of her stunning beauty, youthful energy, and real warmth. Charles, on the other hand, was seen as the next generation in a royal lineage that had been going for hundreds of years. The royal wedding and the couple's public performances were very fancy, but there was a more complicated story behind them. One that didn't start to show up until years after they got married. Since many years ago, even before he got engaged to Diana, there were rumors that Prince Charles was seeing Camilla Parker Bowles. Since the early 1970s, Camilla had known Charles and was someone he could trust. Their relationship was marked by deep understanding and shared interests. This was very different from Charles' relationship with Diana, which, as many people would later learn, was full of mistakes and temperamental clashes. The story of Charles and Diana is a great reminder of how much pressure and attention the royal family is under. Even though it was very pretty, their fairy tale came from what people expected, what was expected in the past, and what the media loved. As it often is, the truth was much more complicated. In real life, Charles and Diana were just two people trying to find their way through duty, expectation, and the constant attention. In the process, they changed what it means to be royal. Diana Spencer is a great mom and the princess of the people. Diana Spencer was more than just a part of the British royal family. She became known as Princess Diana. She went beyond being a princess and became a culture icon whose impact reached far beyond the palace walls. People loved her, cared about her, and felt a strong bond with them, so they called her the People's Princess. She was a fascinating figure in pop culture, and she also left a lasting mark on the world through her charity work and her unwavering love for her two boys, William and Harry. Diana's desire to help others was clear from the start. Because of her duties, she often went to places that not many royals had been. She wasn't happy with just making formal trips. She wanted to make a difference. People with AIDS at a time when the disease was seen as shameful, the poor, and people with leprosy were some of the people she helped. Diana was captured shaking hands with an AIDS patient without gloves, which was one of her most famous moments. This was meant to challenge the myths and stereotypes about the disease. Her kindness was what made her unique, showing over and over that she wasn't just a princess in name, but also in fact. She lived a terribly short life, but Princess Diana changed what it meant to be a modern royal. It was not just as a symbol that she brought the government and the people together. She was a real woman. Through her volunteer work, sincere kindness, and unwavering love for her children, she left a mark that will never be erased, making sure that her reputation as the people's princess will last for many years to come. The world heard the crash, tragedy struck, and Diana was mourned by everyone. Everyone around the world wished they could wake up from the nightmare-like news. Princess Diana, also known as the People's Princess, died in a car accident in Paris. Reports proved what no one could have imagined. The whole world was shocked and deeply saddened. Diana's bright presence, real kindness, and strong commitment to helping others had touched many people all over the world. It was sad that she died because she was more than just a lady. It was like the whole world had lost a dear friend. Tragic events were shown on news stations around the world, with anchors and correspondents struggling to keep their emotions in check. At first there was shock, but soon there was overwhelming sadness. Diana had been there for a lot of people. Since she first came into the public eye, her smile, ease, and kindness had been always there. She had grown up from a shy young bride to a strong woman and loving mother, all while her fans around the world kept an eye on her. Now she was gone, leaving a world trying to understand how terrible the loss was. As people in Britain dealt with the disaster, something that had never happened before happened outside of Buckingham Palace. It began with a few bouquets of flowers and quickly grew into an ocean of flower offerings. The huge concrete area in front of the palace turned into a sea of color, smell, and raw emotion. The flowers, along with notes, photos, and other gifts, showed how sad the whole country was. There was a story of thanks, love, and a deep sense of loss in every rose, lily, and letter. The world had lost a source of hope, a sign of kindness, and a voice for those who couldn't speak for themselves. Even though she was no longer with us, Diana's legacy lives on through the ocean of flowers, the teary faces, and the millions of hearts that will always be touched by the People's Princess. They have a second chance to fall in love with each other. Time can heal scars, change how people see things, and give people second chances. Things would come back to Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles after a while, but this time they would be married and trying to fit in with the public. They had a story together before they met Diana. Like many young lovers in the 1970s, Charles and Camilla were young and in love with each other. Their relationship was full of excitement and promise. But as it often does, life took them in different directions. Charles was set to marry Lady Diana Spencer. Their marriage, which was watched by millions, was full of both happiness and trouble. When Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles, it looked like the end of their relationship for a while. But fate often had other ideas. Their love for each other never really went away. While Charles was married to Diana, their relationship caused a lot of gossip and talk, but people who knew them well knew that their love was real. In the years after Diana's death, the royal family thought a lot about their lives and were closely watched by the public. Charles and Camilla's friendship came out of the shadows and into the light over time. By the early 2000s, the couple was seen in public together again, which was a clear sign that they were getting back together. When they said they were going to get married in 2005, people were supportive, skeptical, and interested. Even though it wasn't a traditional royal wedding, their love for each other was clear. They said their vows in front of close family and friends at Windsor's Guildhall in a civil wedding. After that, the blessing at St. George's Chapel was a moving event, capturing their need for acceptance from both God and people. Because of time, the story of Charles and Camilla has become more and more seen as one of true love and second chances. Their journey, which was full of problems, criticism, and the weight of royal duty, shows how complicated relationships are and how hard it is to find happiness. It's a powerful warning that love stories don't always go in a straight line. Through all the bad things that happen, love can sometimes find its way back, Camilla as a stepmother. Of course, people in Britain and around the world were unsure about the idea of someone else taking on Diana's role. things would also be different for the royal family. The truth was that Charles was happy with his marriage, and William and Harry were also happy to see their father happy. She's not the mean mom. In an interview in 2005, Harry said, "William and I love her to bits." In the end, people also warmed up to Camilla. She did bring something else to the table, though. William and Harry's secret sister comes from Camilla's hidden will. Every story about the British royal family seems to do better when it's being watched over by loyal fans and the never-ending press. But there are lines that aren't explored as much in these stories of grandeur and public scrutiny. Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes' stories are among them. They are Camilla's children from her first marriage to Andrew Parker Bowles. Laura was born in 1978, 8 years before Prince Harry and 4 years before Prince William. Her early years were spent in Wiltshire, England, and she finished school at a boarding school in Dorset. After that, she went to Oxford Brookes University to get degrees in art history and business. Not like her famous half-brothers, Laura has always kept her private life and stayed out of the media's way. She works as an art director and helped open the London Gallery 11, which shows modern art, in 2005. Katie Nichols's 2010 book Harry and William, a royal writer, says that William and Laura had a rough patch in the past. They often fought over who was to blame for their broken houses. Laura would get mad because William would blame Camilla for hurting his mother. After that, she would get back at him by saying, "Your father has ruined my life." In 2006, Laura married George Lopes, who used to be a Calvin Klein model and is now an accountant. As the grandson of a baron and a member of the Astor family, he comes from a rich family. Laura has 3 kids. One of them is a daughter called Eliza, who was a bridesmaid at the wedding of William and Kate. It is well known that Laura is very close with her half-brothers, especially Prince Harry, who calls her sis. Also, she is very close to her stepfather, Prince Charles, who walked her down the aisle at her wedding. Laura is often asked to royal events, like Christmas at Sandringham and Trooping the Colour. Laura likes to keep her life private and low-key, even though she is related to royalty. She stays busy with her family and her job as an art director, so she doesn't do interviews or go to parties very often. She works hard for good causes, like the elephant family, which tries to keep Asian elephants from going extinct. Laura Lopes is more than just Prince William and Harry's half-sister. She has done well in her career. She is a loving wife, mother, and donor. She may not be as famous or glamorous as her royal cousins, but she is still an amazing and admirable person. Tom Parker Bowles, on the other hand, looked like he was headed for fame. With the beauty of his mother and a friendly personality, he made a name for himself in the world of cooking. Because he traveled and tried food from many countries, he was able to write about his experiences and become a famous food writer and critic. Because he loved cooking so much, he met and talked with many of the most famous people in the food world. But Tom had a sense of who he was that went beyond being the son of the Duchess of Cornwall in every conversation, review, and public appearance. It was always a secret why Laura Lopes was there. A number of interconnected things led Laura to choose to live a secretive life. Mostly, she saw for herself how much attention her mother Camilla was constantly under, especially during the rough years with Prince Charles and Princess Diana. It can be hard on your personal life to deal with constant, almost unwanted attention, but Laura didn't want to pay that price. Laura's dedication to her own family also played a part. It can be hard to raise kids when you are connected to the royal family and everyone is looking at you. You could say that Laura's choice to keep a lower profile is a protective measure, an attempt to give her kids a sense of normalcy in a world where their grandmother's every move is carefully recorded. Tom and Laura are 2 separate threads in the huge tapestry of the British royal family. One shines in the spotlight sometimes and gracefully takes part in public life, while the other gracefully hides from view. The two, however, show that Camilla was a great mother who pushed her kids to go their own way, even if it meant carrying the crown. Laura's decision to stay away from a lot of attention was a smart one for both her own peace of mind and her professional reputation. Being a mom changed the way Laura made choices in another way. Having to raise kids while cameras are always on them can be stressful. A normal, grounded childhood is something that every parent wants for their kids. To make sure of this, Laura set a clear line between her private life and the media circus that surrounds the royal family. Tom's journey was linked to public appearances in a well-known job, shows that you can be in the spotlight without being overwhelmed by it. Laura's path, which was marked by tact and quiet determination, shows us that even in the most public families, people can choose how their story is shared. Through their own paths, Tom and Laura both carry on Camilla's legacy, showing how strong individual decisions can be even when royal expectations are in the background. People have thought that when Charles becomes king, he might give his stepchildren royal names. Laura might become a duchess or a countess because of this, but this hasn't happened yet. Due to her work in London's art gallery scene, Laura is known to go to fancy parties. When Skyfall came out in 2012, she was seen there. Camilla has quietly acknowledged Laura's presence in her life by including pictures of her. One of these pictures is a portrait from Laura's wedding that has never been seen before. Thomas, Laura's brother, told Good Morning Britain in 2019 that they are not really part of the royal family. He also said, "My mother married into it, she is a part of it. Our names are John and Mary. We're just nearby." Especially now that Charles is king, this comment makes me wonder about how the family works, the kings and their wives. The way royal relationships work in the British Kingdom, where traditions that go back hundreds of years mix with the winds of change in the present, is a great example of how people can adapt and change. Most people have been interested in the connection between Kate Middleton, Meghan Markle, Prince William, and Prince Harry over the past few years. Kate Middleton's first days with the royal family were marked by grace and kindness. From her time as the future king's girlfriend to her time as the Duchess of Cambridge, she seemed to handle the stresses and strains of royal life with a calm grace. Over the years, her relationship with Prince William grew stronger as they both went through the ups and downs of raising their children in public. People watched, thought about, and often praised Kate's ascension into the royal family for her ability to keep the traditions, while pushing the limits softly. Meghan Markle's path to becoming a princess was very different. Before she met Prince Harry, Meghan was a successful actress and public champion. She brought a new and modern view to the royal institution. Her change wasn't as smooth, though. The British press is known for being very picky, and they often put Meghan under a magnifying glass, sometimes praising how special she is and other times criticizing her for the same reasons. She couldn't avoid the close attention and similarities to Kate that were being paid to her. There were a lot of rumors. Did they know each other or not? Were they like the princesses from fairy tales but more modern? One was the beautiful girl and the other was the outsider. Even so, while the media went all out to paint pictures of competition and conflict, a lot of people could tell that both Kate and Meghan were serious people, even though they had to deal with royal rules, media attention, and public demands. Like any other relationship, theirs had its ups and downs, but to say that they were just competing would be too simple because of how complicated their jobs were in the royal family. Relationships, even royal ones, can be hard because people grow, change, and are affected by outside forces. There are many threads that make up the royal family, and the ones that reflect Kate, Meghan, William, and Harry are all bright and complicated. The way they engage, work together, and disagree with each other shows how modern royalty struggles with tradition, media, and making personal decisions. There may be rumors and shocking news about them from time to time, but what really matters is the time they spend together, the things they understand without saying, and the bonds they form in the toughest part of royal life, a royal fight. Few events in the long history of the British royal family have caused as much speculation, debate, and mystery as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's move. When they left the traditional duties of being a monarch and started a new life in North America, it wasn't just a change in where they lived, it was a big change in what their jobs as royals were all about. For Harry, this move wasn't just a way to get away from the attention, it was a reflection of a deep-seated desire for normality. He had a secret desire to be out of the royal spotlight for a long time, wanting the freedom and privacy that his position didn't give him very often. Meghan was born in the United States and is also a very good actress. She had been in the news before, but in a different setting. Together, their marriage and choice to take a step back painted a vivid picture of a modern couple looking for independence, freedom, and a way to get away from the constant attention of the British press. The reasons for their move were many and varied. Moving around suggested that they were looking for a safe place to be, a place for their son Archie to grow up without being watched all the time by his parents. They made this choice because they wanted to protect their new family from the stresses and dangers of constant media attention, which had become more unfriendly toward Meghan in many ways. However, the effects were not just personal. The choice to step down from senior royal duties and the move that followed were both big changes from what had been done for hundreds of years. It showed that the younger royals have a very different view of their jobs and responsibilities now. Do you agree? Please tell us in the comments. This prince, who was sixth in line to the throne, chose love, freedom, and his own health over the road that was set out for him by royal duty. When the news came out that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were giving up their royal tasks, there was a lot of talk in the media, a lot of questions. There seemed to be a split in the royal family. Were they unhappy with their parts? Or was it a desire to be financially free? Every possible angle was looked at, argued about, and made more interesting. What do you think? Tell us what you think in the comments. Meghan, in particular, became the subject of a lot of this talk. Some parts of the media said she planned the move and had an effect on Harry, which led to a story that was often racist and xenophobic. The story of Harry and Meghan's move will always be linked to bravery, controversy, and change in the big tapestry of royal history. At that time, love, ambition, duty, and desire all came together to make a story that historians and fans will love for years to come. The story of these two brothers who are related by blood and history shows how complicated family love and duty can be when there is a lot of stress. Thanks for seeing this movie. We hope it was interesting and helpful for you. The page that comes up will keep you up to date on your favorite celebrities and other royal news. I'll see you there.